Hello learners, welcome back. Today we'll be doing applications of psychology and socio-cultural processes underlying behavior. And that's it, then we'll be finished with the chapter. And this video might be a little bit short because I won't go into detail about all the applications of psychology. It's pretty much very basic stuff, so you can go through it yourself. Clinical psychology. A clinical psychologist does psychotherapy, investigates clinical problems, develops methods of treatment. This field emphasizes on the diagnosis, causes, and treatment of severe psychological disorder and emotional trouble. Diagnosis is to find out what the problem is to find out the underlying disease that is causing this particular problem to happen, right? So diagnosing is basically very much finding out the problem or finding out what's wrong. Community psychology. This field promotes community wide means you can say on a large scale mental health through research, prevention, education, and consultation. Community psychologists apply psychological principles, ideas, and points of view to help solve social problems. Social problems, there can be different types of social problems such as honor killing, sati pratha, or child marriage, so on. And to help individuals in adapting to their work and living groups. And they can have different kinds of ethnic problems too, right? Or gender based problems too. So psychologists help these kinds of people to get accommodated with their work and living environment, right? So maybe a person is gender biased from the very start, or he has some underlying psychological problem that makes him gender biased due to some previous situations or instances. So he can seek the help of a community psychologist, and he will help him get habitual with the opposite or with the other gender, right? So solving this psychological problem. Now, counseling psychology. A counseling psychologist does psychotherapy and personal counseling. She or he researches emotional disturbances and counseling methods. This branch deals with helping people or individuals with personal problems, including interpersonal relations, career choice, mild emotional troubles, or behavioral problems such as overeating, slow learning, or lack of concentration. I think this much is very clear, and there's no need to go in depth about it or explain it much. Moving on, educational psychology. This field investigates classroom dynamics, teaching styles, and learning, develops educational tests, evaluates educational programs suitable for smooth flow of education among students. This branch deals with broader problem of increasing the efficiency of learning in school by applying psychological knowledge of learning and motivation to the curriculum. Like a recent psychological development could be the introduction of smart boards. So it can be that various psychologists studied this education system of India or education system in our schools, and they developed a new and interesting way of teaching, and that turned out to be a smart board. So children learn effectively or better with the help of animations or graphics or some kind of uh, some kind of alive creatures, with the help of some alive creatures, moving creatures, right? Like in a book you are reading, the pictures are completely static, they are not moving, they don't show any kind of emotion, they don't arouse anything inside you. But when it is a moving picture, it is a videography, then it feels very realistic, you connect yourself with it. So this could be an advancement in this in the educational psychology, the use of smart boards, right? Forensic psychology. This field investigates problem of crime and crime prevention, rehabilitation programs, prisons, courtroom dynamics, selects candidate for police work. Forensic psychologists mostly work within the judicial system in certain areas like assessing emotional psychological state of under trials and victims, evaluation of rehabilitation programs, eyewitness testimony and evidence, jury selection, police training, etc. So you might have heard that there was a notorious murderer. He killed so many people. Dash 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 stuff. Right. And later it turned out that he was actually psychologically ill or mentally retarded or mentally ill. Right. That's why he did all those things. So who is the one who actually tells that the who actually says that this person is like this, yeah, and or he is mentally ill or he was actually psychologically ill? Who defines it? It is a forensic psychologist. He observes the criminal, he observes that person who has committed so many murders. That criminal is kept under trial and is being observed by the psychologist day and night, right? And after observation, after days and days of observation, he finally concludes whether the person is actually mentally ill or he is just trying to evade his punishment by acting as if he is. Right. So this is the work of forensic psychologist. And in case of police recruitments, the forensic psychologist also checks the psychological state of the aspirants, like the psychological states of the person who wants to get admitted into the police works. So this is also done by a forensic psychologist. And there are criminals in jails, so psychologist also helps the criminals in jails to get over their issues, get over their past traumas, so that they can be a better man if they go when they go out of the jail, so they can change, they can change their personality, right? So these works are also done by forensic psychologists. Now moving on, industrial or organizational psychology. These are mostly kind of private psychologists. Industrial organization psychologists are mostly private. So this field investigates all aspects of behavior in work setting, ranging from selection, recruitment of employees, performance appraisal, work and motivation to leadership. Suppose you want to recruit some people and you hire a psychologist who check the psychological state of the people that you want to recruit, that whether he's an intelligent person, whether he's a concerned person, whether he will be a good leader or not. So these things can be assessed by a psychologist. An industrial or organizational psychologist. Now, environmental psychology. This the field studies the effects of urban noise, crowding, attitudes towards the environment, and human use of space. The expert psychologists of the field act as consultants on environmental issues. So they study what kind of effects do humans or do human related activities cause on the environment, right? Because environment also show a kind of psychology. Like earlier I told you, it is also concerned with animal behavior. It is not only concerned with human behavior. See what kind of effects does a human urbanization has on the living creatures around that area, or what kind of what kind of effects does overpopulation has on animals, on forests, and related issues. Now, besides that, the last point is health psychology. The field of health psychology studies the relationship between behavior and health, uses psychological principles to promote health and prevent illness. I think this is a very common phase of psychology, and I think you've all gone through it most at some point of time too. See, for example, let's take stress or tension. This much is obvious, I think, that stress or a lot of stress causes some kind of health issues. It can cause headaches, or it can cause some other health issues related to stress. It can also cause inefficiency in your work, right? So that phase is concerned with health psychology or health psychologists. Or you can in fact develop some other kind of illnesses due to extreme stress or extreme tension, or maybe your work environment is not good, or your or your working environment is not good, your living environment is not good, and you due to that you develop some kind of pressure inside. You keep on suffocating inside, feeling that something is not right, something doesn't suit you, and over time it could even turn into an illness, into a heart disease, into cholesterol, into high blood pressure, low blood pressure. These kind of situations, most commonly, almost 90% of such illnesses arise from psychological disturbances inside you. Now, the next topic, socio-cultural processes underlying behavior. So what kind of socio-cultural, social and cultural, right? Culture is a tradition that we have been going on or following for a very long time, and social is our immediate setting. Like social is related to society, and society is the kind of people that we live among, or our very immediate people, the people that are nearby us, that are near to us. Like you live in, say, see, you live in this residency, right? This residency, let it name it B, A, and about 5 to 10 kilometers away from here there is another residency. Let's say this is residency B. Okay, now a person living in here and a person living in here, they will have different societies. The person that lives in residency A has society A. A person living in residency B has society B, right? But let us talking about culture. Let's say this society follows follows a very long and ancient tradition of say Holi, right? they follow a tradition of Holi, Indian Holi, and the society B also follows the tradition of Holi, right? So both the people will have, whether the person lives in the society A or society B, they will have the same culture, but they have different societies. Let's say you first start living in society A. Now your society is society A, and you have a culture of what? Holi. And now you shift after some time to society B. Now your society has been changed to society B, but your culture remains the same, that is of Holi. So this is the difference between society and culture. Culture is a long is a an ancient is an ancient follow-up tradition that you've been, or a tradition that you have been following for a very long time, right? But society is your immediate surrounding that you live around. So what kind of effects do these two types of things make on your behavior? What kind of effect does they have on your behavior? So socio-cultural processes underlying behavior, or it could be the other way, that how does your behavior affect your society or your culture, right? So there could be a person, let's say suppose A, he has a tradition of doing some particular thing, but another person comes into his society, or so after some time a person starts living in his society and he modifies that culture a little bit, right? Because he has a different understanding of the same aspects that person A has been following, so he modifies that culture a little bit, and then people start following that modified culture. So you can say that his behavior had an effect on the social on the culture. His behavior had an effect on that culture, right? So they can affect each other in turn. So social cultural processes can affect behavior, and behavior can affect social cultural processes in turn. So humans are referred as a social animal because they live in a group, a society, and they follow some made up norms to live peacefully among each other. So humans are referred to as a social animal, and thus their behavior is also governed by many social factors such as family, peers, their society and culture. Our behavior is much more complex than any other animal on this planet, and sole reason for this is the socio-cultural factors that regulate our behavior, that is society and culture related factors. So socio-culture means society and culture related. For example, need for thirst is the basic biological need which is common across humans and animals, right? However, the way we humans gratify it is the way we humans satisfy this need or fill up this need is very different, or is completely different. It is completely different from animals. For example, some people will drink cold water, some will drink lukewarm water, and some may prefer normal water while others may prefer soda water or juice to ward off their thirst, right? So if you put three kinds of liquids in front of a dog, let's say in front of a dog, let's do it on the notebook again. So here there are utensils, three utensils. Utensil number A, utensil number B and C. Now in the first one you put water, that's plain water. In the second one you put juice. And in the third one, let's say you put shake. You put some kind of shake into it. Now a dog comes there. Let's say a dog here, this comes here, and he is feeling very thirsty. He's feeling very thirsty, right? So when he is feeling thirsty, he goes towards the water. He will go towards the water and quench his thirst. Now let's say another dog comes here and he is not feeling thirsty. So this dog will go through all the utensils and he will take his preferable choice. Maybe he wants to drink shake, he wants to drink juice, he feels like it, he likes the taste. So he can take any of them. But in the immediate condition, a dog will not go for juice or shakes if he is feeling very thirsty. Right now he's concerned with quenching his thirst. So he will go for the most basic thing, water. And that is the best way to quench his thirst. But if he has already quenched his thirst and he can now take care of his taste, his preferences, so he can go for any of the other things. While in the case of a man, he can quench his thirst with any of them. So he will not go with water, he can go with juice, or he can even go with shakes. He will give preference to his choice first rather than to the basic need, that is of quenching his thirst. So this example shows that our behavior is not governed by biological factors only, but various social and cultural factors also play a vital role in shaping it. Family is one of the most important socio-cultural factors that affect our behavior. Like in the first example I just gave of a dog, even if a dog knows that juice is better for his health, right? So still, when he needs to quench his thirst, he will go for water. Later on, he can drink juice. But in the case of a man, if a man knows or he has been told that juice is better for your body, it gives you energy, it gives you nutrients and stuff. So whenever he's feeling thirsty, he will go for the juice. He will not go for the water. He will always instinctively go for the juice, right? Because he thinks that why not give some nutrients to your body too, besides quenching your thirst. A dog will not feel the same way, or any other animal would not feel it in this way. So that is why how our biological factors are affected by our social and cultural factors. Family is one of the most important socio-cultural factors that affect our behavior. Since birth, family is our primary source of interaction and thus play a vital role in value acquisition and role expectations. So families play a very important vital role in the kind of values that we acquire, in the kind of values that we have over time, that we sum up over time, and the kind of role that is expected from us. The role of a son, the role of a daughter, the role of a father, and different roles that we are expected to follow. Bandura have suggested in his theory that child learns behavior by imitating others. Just like you can take for example a very small monkey. A monkey always imitates others. Even a grown-up monkey might imitate others, but a baby monkey almost imitates someone or the other. Most immediately his mother or his father, right? So a baby monkey will start imitating his parents very consciously, right? But in the case of an animal, in the case of a human, sorry, in the case of human, we don't know that the child is imitating us, because it has a very long span of time. So it has a very long life. So over a long span of time, the child picks up a few habits, and we don't even realize that he has picked up our habits and he's been imitating our behavior, and especially elder models. In case of a family, a child learns to act in a particular way by observing her or his parents, siblings, and other relevant caregivers. Thus, it can be suggested that family plays an important role in learning any behavior. Further, the type of family, number of caregivers, number of siblings, family socio-economic condition, that is the kind of condition that the family has in society or in economic affairs, or economically, means how rich the family is, how poor it is, what kind of status it has in the society. These kind of conditions also, these kind of factors also affect the child's behavior. Another important socio-cultural process underlying our behavior is society and culture. Society and culture, right? So socio-culture process does not include only society and culture. Definitely includes society and culture, but does not only include society and culture. It will also includes families, peers, friends. They all come in society and our culture, right? Like we have a culture of making friends. You can say friendship is a culture. We have a long culture of making friends from ages and ages ago. Even our pets come into socio-culture behavior, socio-culture processes. Our pets also come into it, because we have a long tradition of making bonds with animals that we call pets, right? Often these two terms are used interchangeably, so they are saying that often these terms society and culture are used in place of each other. Means society is taken as culture is taken as society. They are often thought to be as the same thing, but they carry different meanings. Society refer to a group of people which share a common territory, like your immediate surrounding, like the people that live around you, or that are currently around you. See, like you go somewhere for a little bit of time, you go on a holiday, so now your society has changed. If you're permanent resident of, say, residency A, that is your society. But let's say you go for about a month or 2 months to some other place for a holiday, then the place that you go to, the people living around your area at that place will become your society now, right? So society is not related to permanent settlement. Society is the group of people that are living around you or that are staying around you at that moment or at that time, which share a common territory. Now, common territory, language and culture, other neighboring group of people or society. Many studies have found that our society and culture affect our behavior at a deeper level. For example, you can say that Hindu-Muslim riots. Now they have a very deeper meaning inside us. The kind of society that we live in leave very deep meanings inside us. That is why they often become the cause of such riots. right? So a person living in a kind of Hindu environment, he will come off to hate the Muslims. A person living in a Muslim environment will come off to hate the Hindus, even though he doesn't know what Hindus has done or what Muslims has done, but he will come to hate them, right? This is because of the effect that this society has on him. Many studies have found that our society and culture affect our behavior at deeper level. For example, in individualistic culture like America and European countries, emphasizes independences, individual rights, and being assertive are considered important traits, important habits, important parts of your character. Whereas collective cultures means people living in a collection, in a group. Collective cultures like India and China promote traits, promote characters like dependability, dependable, like you are dependable to someone, you are dependable to someone else, like you're dependable on your father, you are dependable on your mother for household expenditures and stuff. Self-sacrificing means sacrificing self for some other people, for some other greater noble reason, and helping others. Okay, so with this the chapter is done. I don't think anything very tough was in it, but if you have any problems, you can leave it in the comments and I'll surely reply back.